Ah, hey, audit and fraud, friends and family. Let me ask you all a question. Do you have fond memories of fast food? In particular, do you have fond memories of fast food restaurants? Because I sure do. The fast food experience for me when I was a kid was different, and part of it is because I'm old, see the gray hair, but it was fast and it really was food back in the day. And it surely didn't involve rampant fraud. So let me know if you have fond memories. Hey, Stephanie, congratulations on the new job, by the way. If you have fond memories of fast food, let me know. Let's talk about it because today's episode, well, I say this every week, it's going to be crazy. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome to the Friday Fraudster podcast. Join them as they discuss sad, funny, and sometimes disturbing fraud stories. Be sure to catch past episodes on your favorite podcasting platform or go to www.fridayfraudster.com.
All right, you heard my opening question. Anybody have fond memories of fast food? Because I'm going to tell you some of my fond memories. But before I do, we're going to bring up our co host for today. And Christine just abandoned us again. Something about having fun with the family. And I was like, you don't have fun here with us? Like, what?
That's just wrong. That hurts.
Yeah, I felt personally offended. You know what I did, though? I, I messaged her and I told her, I said, bring me back a keychain. I mean, who doesn't want a keychain from some random destination that somebody goes to?
So when it comes to keychains, did you ever get like a personalized keychain? Did they ever have? Oh, I assume they had like Robert, right, for most of them.
Yeah, everybody got the keychain or the refrigerator magnet, and then the refrigerator stopped working because the magnet sucked all the energy from it. I mean, that's not true, but at least that's what I thought when I was a kid.
Awesome.
Okay. So look, serious question though. Thomas, do you have any fond memories of fast food?
Fond memories of fast food. So like back in the day, we didn't go to fast food as often as they do now, right? So even fast food was kind of a special treat for us. So um, trying to think if I have really any fond memories. The biggest one I guess is like back then Chick-fil-A was only in the mall and not even in every mall. So the local mall where I grew up, they had a Chick-fil-A, and I always looked forward to going. And then I would get disappointed by the fries because at the time I didn't like waffle fries. I love them now, but I love getting the chicken nuggets there. So I guess that would be the fond memory of just like being able to. And then I remember, I think I was in college, and so I was like, "Yeah, they've got a Chick Fil A over here." I was like, "There's no mall there." Like, no, it's just a freestanding. It's like, what?
Okay. So right? You hit on a few things, and then here we go, Stephanie. Love the playground at McDonald's. Right?
Oh,
Okay. So let me tell you, I'm kind of old again, gray hair. Back in the day, you didn't get to go to fast food that often because it was kind of expensive, and you knew that home cooked meals were actually better.
yep.
So when you got to go to a fast food restaurant, it was a treat. I remember my mom would bring home parties on Thursday nights sometimes. By Thursday, I don't know. I also remember when I was in high school, there was a McDonald's close to the high school, and so some of us would leave campus for lunch. I mean, we really weren't supposed to, but but we would leave school during lunch and walk over to the McDonald's. Now, to take it a step further, most of us at that age, when we got a car, 16, you work, you get your own car. Usually, the fast food restaurant was either a hangout spot or oftentimes it was a first date, something like Steak and Shake or McDonald's. Now, some people are probably going to try and roast me for saying that because I don't know if you saw the video a few years ago. This woman was a little mad because a date took her to the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, really? But back in the day, your first date with someone would be at like a fast food restaurant, and mostly because you could sit down and actually have a conversation and talk. You get one of those hard boots that hurt your butt if you sat in it for too long, right?
Yep.
So fast food restaurants were really, really cool back in the day.
Now, I will say in college, there was a Wendy's that was just a little ways down the road. And a couple of friends and I, like my freshman year, we would go over to Wendy's because it was like, 11 o'clock, midnight. We wanted munchies, but we had no money. So we would go over there, get a Frosty, get some fries, and just kind of chill and hang out there. So yeah, I do remember that doing that too. But yeah, it's not the healthiest place to go sometimes. I did have a friend in high school that worked at Taco Bell, and after he worked there for a little bit, he started convincing us not to go to Taco Bell.
So Taco Bell, I used to call it toxic hell because I mean that's. But now I have to admit, when in college, when in college, late at night, the only thing that would be open, two restaurants or two fast food restaurants, Taco Bell and Crystals. The
And
only
what
thing
now?
open 24 hours.
What was the other one? Taco Bell and what?
Crystals.
Crystals. Don't know that one. Are they
Yeah.
still
So,
around?
okay. So Crystals is the southeastern United States version of White Castle.
Okay, gotcha.
They both sell those little small square burgers and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Oh,
So
interesting.
Crystal. Oh, wait a minute. No. Stephanie's got a good one. IHOP. Yep, that's another one. Wait a minute. Waffle House.
So
Waffle House.
what I want to say was it? Yeah. Whenever I was in college, that was the other place that was open. I think it was 24 hours. Was IHOP, and you'd
Yep.
go in there at like 10, 11 o'clock, and there was nothing but college students studying around the IHOP.
Studying.
So yeah, forgot about that.
Oh yeah, studying. I forgot. That's what you can do late at night. I mean, I can't confirm or deny if back in my younger days I would be out in the clubs until 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning.
And sleep. What sleep?
I can't confirm or deny that. So yeah, studying. Sorry. I really. What was that? No, I'm just kidding. I studied a lot. I mean, you know. So now, when I was young too, though, I actually worked in at Burger King. I remember 1989. I worked at Burger King, um, and it was pretty interesting. Minimum wage was like $3 and something per hour. And go ahead. You want to say it? I know it.
What I was going to ask. So my first job was at Dairy Queen, and now back in those days, you could be 16 and work in the kitchen with the fries and the grill and all of that. And nowadays you have so many because of us, all the scars, all the burns, and all that. Whatever. So what did you do for Burger King?
Everything. So okay. So I worked in the kitchen. I also, did dishes when they needed to do dishes. I also was the cashier in the front. I worked the drive-through. And here's
Yep.
the thing, and let's just call a spade a spade. Most times, what you saw was the young boys in the back and the young girls in the front, because the girls would smile and really greet people. Um, but one time we were there and we were working, and they were short on cashiers. And I remember the manager looked at me. Her name was man, I forgot her name now. Anyway, the manager, she looked at me and she said, "Can you count?" Like, what kind of a question is that? Are you?
How dare you?
Of course I can count. She said, "Well, I'm gonna put you up front at the cash register." I was like, "Oh, okay." So she put me up front at the cash register, and I just like talking to people. And so they just kept saying, "We're gonna keep putting you up front." And then they said, "Okay, we're gonna put you in a drive-through," because we had the busiest Burger King in the area. And so the drive-through was really a pain point, but I was pretty fast at counting and talking and getting stuff out. As a matter of fact, talking about nostalgic memories of fast food, we had regulars that would come in and we liked them and they liked us. I specifically remember one guy. We called him the bacon bagel guy because he would always come in on Saturday morning and he would order two bacon bagels. Um, and it got to a point where he was such a regular. If the restaurant was really crowded, people in that little snake trying to order, we
Yep.
would see him come in the door. We'd put his order in, fix it up for him. He would cut the line because we just hand it to him. And then he would hand us the money. He had exact change because he knew how much it cost.
Yep.
But that's what I mean, the restaurants used to be a place where you would convene and you knew people and you would just have a good time. Now,
Okay. So were there any restaurants or other fast food that were like next door or near you guys?
oh, sure, yeah.
Yep. So did you have any relationship with them at all?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep. So for us at Dairy Queen, right next door was a Hooters. And for some reason, the teenage boys that were working with me there at Dairy Queen, we kind of acknowledged that there was a Hooters next door. And so every once in a while, you would have some ladies come through on roller skates. Actually, if I remember right, and would come through our drive-through to get like shakes and stuff from us. But uh, Super Bowl every year, they would be packed. We would be dead. So, but at halftime, we would have a crowd come over from them to get desserts and stuff, and then go back over to keep watching the game. So
Yeah.
that's one memory that I'll never forget. And we would do that, and then we'd have some food trades between the two and all of that. So I forgot about that part. I blocked that out after I got married.
See, I'm I'm bringing up nostalgic memories. And this is somebody, I think this might be Kate Thomas. I can't see because he's on your profile. Said fun conversations were had at Denny's. Went for the conversation, not for the food. Yeah.
Yep.
And Stephanie said hers was McDonald's. Yeah. I
Yep.
remember back in the day, the big thing was if you had a birthday party at McDonald's. Now, now some people were gonna laugh, younger people were gonna laugh, like we go to jump houses or whatever. We didn't have like jump houses and places like that back then. And Ronald McDonald was still a thing. So you would have a party and you would have Ronald, Grimace, and the Hamburglar at your party. And you got a happy meal with a toy in it, and you and your friends would sit down, you would talk, you would play with the toys that you just got in your happy meal. And what's really crazy is I remember way back in the day when I was a kid, my mom, she had a job and she had a second job because it was temporary to saving for something, and it was at McDonald's. And I had a birthday party at McDonald's. And what's really crazy is some of the people that were at that party I'm still friends with to this day.
That's
It's really
funny. Wow.
crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling the audience is wondering what in the world we're talking about today, since we've been a little nostalgic.
They are, but they like hanging on to it. So what I do too is I look, we've been at it for about 13 minutes. That's about the time the audience starts to get a little, what are they talking about today? Look, here's what we're talking about today. Hmm, this one is real interesting. So um there is a Taco Bell in Oregon, Ohio. And a few months ago, some people frequented the Taco Bell and they noticed that they had fraudulent charges on their credit card. Some of them were labeled Jim.com or cameraman. And they
And it was
started trying to
Jim,
figure
like
out,
JIM, right? Not like Jim JYM, but like the name
yeah,
Jim.
JIM.com. And they were trying to figure out where the charges came from. And they were able to whittle it down to this Taco Bell from June 30th to July 3rd. Now, here's the interesting thing though. So, mm, I've always thought that Taco Bell and Crystals and IHOP and White Castle were the late night drunk people restaurants, right?
Drunk
So
and
apparently,
other extracurricular activities. Yep.
well, yeah, true. Apparently, these activities, the the people that went to this Taco Bell, it was between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. from June 30th to July 3rd.
What was the time again? I missed the time.
10 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody there that was going through the Taco Bell was clean and sober and upstanding citizens.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I can tell you that in a lot of fast food restaurants, that late at night, you do have the quote unquote late night crew. And a big part of their job is not really to take orders for real. I mean, even though that's a part of their job, but a lot of what they're doing is cleaning up the restaurant, especially if there's like um, an oven inside that needs to be cleaned or grease traps that need to be cleaned each night. Mostly that's what they're doing is setting up for the next day.
Right.
And so oftentimes too, you gotta get a special kind of person to work that late at night.
This is also true. Yep. And more and more are starting to close their inside restaurant area, so that way they can do the cleaning and all of that, and just have the drive-through open as well. But yeah, you're right. It's normally not the or yeah, normally some interesting people that are working those late night shifts. You're I worked for a pharmacy chain, large pharmacy chain, and some of the stores are 24 hours, or at least were at the time. And you had some interesting people that were working those night shifts too.
Yeah. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting though. They haven't caught this particular person yet. However, this isn't the first time that this has happened at this particular Taco Bell. Back in 2023, this happened. Same Taco Bell, same MO. Now, they haven't released how they obtained the information, if they took pictures of the credit card with their phone or if they actually skimmed it, but it's happened at this Taco Bell before. And it's such a problem that people in the community took to their Facebook. So they have a community Facebook group. They took to the community Facebook group to actually talk about it. And let's just take a look. So this was September 8th of 2023. This person says, warning, I used my card in the last 72 hours at Taco Bell on Navarre. Today, I have hundreds of dollars of fake charges. I saw a few other people are now having the same issue. If you can use cash for now at a Taco Bell on Navarre, just trying to save someone else some headache. Now, here's what I want to say. Why in the hell would you use cash at the Taco Bell instead of just avoiding it altogether? Like,
Hey, if you're craving it, all right. I mean, let's be real here.
really? Toxic hell? Seriously?
How dare you?
It, it seems like to me you were just asking for some legal trouble.
Yeah, yeah. If you know someone or strongly suspect someone is doing something nefarious with your credit card, then what's going to stop them from using a weapon or something like that and robbing you of the cash, right? Because it's essentially the same thing. So yeah, yeah. If I knew something, or if I really felt like something was going on, other than reporting it, I wouldn't be going back there. No.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to read some of these comments in just a second. But before we do, a side note. Back in the day, people would try to defraud the fast food restaurant. You rarely saw the restaurant workers trying to defraud people because it was a common scheme. I remember one time I was sitting in the Burger King drive-through window, and this guy pulled up and he gave me a $1 bill and he threw it on the counter real quick, and it was for a Coke or something. And so whenever I got money from customers, I would lay it on the side and then I would count out their change and I would hand it to them. And so that's what I did with him. But along the way, he kept saying things like, oh, along the way, he kept saying things like, hey, let's change that. And can you give me a 5 ones or whatever? And I was like, dude, you only gave me a $1 bill. And he was like, "No, I gave you a 20." Here's what he expected. He expected that I took that $1 and put it in my drawer, but I didn't.
Mhm.
I laid it to the side. And that was a common scheme that was going on way back
Oh yeah.
when.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. We had a real bad problem with that at the pharmacy I worked at. They would come in and start talking really fast, start really moving fast with their hands, really trying to, take this cash, hand this cash. Oh, can you break this? Can you do that? And they walk out, acting like they gave you $100 bill and getting $80 in change when really they gave you like a 20. So yeah, that was real bad there.
So let's check out some of these Facebook comments. 'Cause this is wild. So one person said, "Just saw employee arrested for credit card theft." That was the last guy from 2023. Thanks for sharing. Okay. I'm sorry that happened to you. What a shame. My best suggestion is to use the app to pay and place your order. I understand people are weary about putting their credit cards into an app, but it can definitely be safer rather than using a middleman, person at the drive-through who has access to your credit card. Wait a minute. We still haven't gotten to the point where they said, "Stop going to this Taco Bell." Are we for real? Like, seriously. Like, okay, let me just I'm gonna be quiet. Somebody said, "The same thing happened to me last Wednesday. I know the kid who did it because he locked up my card doing such. We have started a fraud case, making a police report today with Oregon police. Anyone else who has had this happen, please go make a police report as well. And it should be made into one big case. We had $700 taken out of our accounts within 1 hour."
Mm.
Now, here's someone with a news station, Kristen. "I'm a reporter at 13 Action News. I sent you a DM." And then Kristen said, "Forget this. I'm putting up the detective's name too, so everybody can contact the detective." Gotcha. Makes sense. "Can we please stop going to this place though?" Then, I mean, seriously, I'm going to call corporate. Great. Call corporate. In the meantime, stop going. This person, "I am as well." Good. I'm glad. Please do. Uh, then somebody said, "Do you remember who took your card at the window?" Description. Somebody said, "I sure do. And I have the receipt." This is good. It's good. But then we go on down a little further, and here's the gentleman who was arrested. His name is Travell Mosby, and he was arrested for this. And yeah, but this was the one that happened again in 2023.
But like you said,
Some
no, still nobody had said, "Hey, I'm going to stop going to the Taco Bell."
Wait, and here's
Yeah.
somebody else. So obviously they haven't fixed the issue yet. They're scary. So now remember, this is from the one in 2023. And by
Yep.
her comment, that makes me think that it was going on even before this. And we have another incident in this year, 2025. So
So
when
on
do
on one hand, you're hiring for fast food. You're getting teenagers. You're getting people that are, I don't want to say desperate for a job, but they're willing to work for the wages that fast food normally makes, right? So you try to be picky, but you can't exactly be overly picky. So on one hand, I don't want to blame, that whoever the franchise owner is of this Taco Bell for bad hiring practices, because you're limited on who you can hire. But if this has happened multiple times at the same place, you might want to look at whoever's doing your interviewing, and work on that process a little bit.
Yeah, because the person doing the interviewing might actually be hiring people that he knows that will actually do this. They might be in on it together.
Yeah.
I mean, like what? I- and I get it too. So I looked up this community. It's a middle class community, very low crime. So they probably haven't seen anything like this before, and it's kind of shocking to the system. Like, wait a minute, this can't happen here. Newsflash: it can happen here, there, everywhere.
So I think I've mentioned it on the show before. There was a pizza place here in my area that before I started. before I started my consulting firm, I went back to college for a year getting my accounting hours. And for 6 months of that, I waited tables and I delivered pizzas at the same time. I had two part time jobs while taking these accounting hours. And the pizza place that I worked for, which the area that I live in is a well to do area, the crime is relatively low. But one of the assistant managers there, he was skimming credit card information and selling it on the black market and such. So very similar type of situation as what that happened. So it doesn't matter, yeah, the area you're in, it very easily happen.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Now, before we get to red flags, warning signs, and how we can actually try to work to prevent this, I've got a message from our sponsor. Sponsor today is actually me. Look, you guys know that I'm an audit trainer, keynote speaker, probably one of the best out there. Let's just be real with it. So, as you are planning out your 2026, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about me. I've got a few keynotes that are really good. One is called Activate Your Awesomeness. It's really cool. The other one is called The Honest Auditor, where I really talk about what it means to be honest while you're auditing and some of the consequences and some of my standout courses. I've got a new one on storytelling, how to really tell the issue so that your clients, your audit clients, really get it and act on it. Another one is how to actually audit AI. Look, we all know that I built Audit Leverage, first AI platform for auditors. That also means that I must know how to audit it too. And then the last one, how to ask better questions. Those are three of my standout courses. So, if you need a really good standout keynote speaker, you know who to call. Now, with that said, I want to do something that I don't do that often. Um, and I want to do something that I don't do that often. And that is, I just want to brag a little bit. Some people don't like bragging, but hey, if I don't do it, who's going to do it for me? So last week I was in Austin, Texas. I was doing a conference for the state auditors in the state of Texas. And, after you do these things, you get these ratings back and they tell you how well you did. So let's just pull this up because most people won't show you. The session I did was called Say It Right, From Draft to Polished Audit Report Perfection. It was about how to write reports. So they evaluated me on a few things. Hey, is this useful? Look at that 4.79, 4.71, 4.53, 4.78 out of 5. But where the rubber really meets the road is let's look at some of these comments. Because again, if I don't do it, nobody else will. Hey, great presentation. Very nice presentation. It was thorough. Speaker was awesome. Refreshing presentation on my least favorite topic. And get this one. Somebody said we need a longer session. Imagine that. Somebody wanted you to talk even longer. Somebody said, great presentation, lots of information that could be useful when writing reports. PCAST is an interesting concept. PCAST is a methodology I came up with to help you write better reports. Look at this one. He is very engaging and provided direct information that is applicable. His instruction style matched the content, which was appreciated. Look at this one. I hope the SAO, the State Auditor's Office, will consider Rob as a keynote speaker next year. Anybody listening? You hear that? Look at this. Would have liked a longer session. How many times have you gone to training where people said, we really want him to talk more? Somebody said, enjoyed the session, provided practical ways to improve the report writing process and communicate with more clarify. I guess that should be clarity. The instructor's presentation style kept me engaged. So I'm not gonna go down this rabbit hole too much further because you might get bored with me bragging. But every once in a while, you got to do it. IA chapters, event organizers, give me a call.
I tell people all the time, there's only one person that I actually pay attention to throughout the entire presentation, and that's you. And I don't just say that in front of you. I say that whenever you're not around as well. I don't like going to conferences. I don't like, having to listen to someone drone on forever when they're normally not making a point, or, they, for, all the different reasons, right? But yours are entertaining, but you also learn something, and I actually pay attention the whole time. I mean, that's probably why I didn't get good grades in college or high school, is because I had a hard time paying attention even for 40 minutes. But yeah, anybody that's looking for a speaker, if they don't have you on their short list of people to call, they need to update their list, plain and simple. And those results don't surprise me at all. It's exactly what I've seen.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Hey, let's go back to this Facebook thing just one more time, man. Okay, okay. Wait a minute. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Look, so I'm looking at these. Somebody said the same thing happened to me at Taco Bell in Oak Harbor last November. I had stopped en route to taking care of my dying kid brother. Good God. I looked at my phone around midnight and someone had used my debit card to make online clothing purchases. I was able to stop the second charge, then eventually got refunded for the first. Haven't been back to Taco Bell since. Thank you.
Gotta love the Facebook posts, the comments. Yeah, it, no, I won't go there. Keep going. What else we have?
I, I mean, okay, wait, here we go. I'm sorry this has happened, but let me shout out to the young man and woman that were working Tuesday night. Offered me a free beverage and said, I don't, I said I don't drink pop, so I asked for extra sauce. So instead, so they hooked me up, wow, and still tried to give me a lemonade. If these are your children or know who I'm referring to, please tell their parents thank you. I,
Thank you for offering to steal from the store for me. Appreciate it.
I mean, I'll gladly bribe you with a lemonade for your credit card today. You know? All right. So look, let's talk solutions before we close out. Normally we would say check your credit card, but nowadays you can actually put alerts on your credit card where they send you text or emails if there's a transaction above a certain amount.
Yeah.
So let's do that, right? Um, check your statement, put on those alerts. When you
Oh,
see
hold on,
suspicious
hold on.
activity,
I gotta age you for a second. Did you say check your statements?
well, yeah, you still get your online activity, right?
I see. I look at the activity. I don't even look at the statements anymore. I look at
Well,
the
true.
act.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I look at sorry. Whenever I hear your statement, I think each month you get your statement and go through it. And, no.
Now, I actually can't think of the last time I actually looked at the statement, but I still use that terminology, right? Because I am old. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, yeah. I turned off the paper notifications and all that. Basically, when I opened my accounts, I get the email, the statement, but
Yep.
yeah, every or I don't want to say every bank. Okay, every bank, credit union, all of those have some kind of app to go on your phone and check your accounts, and that should be done daily. There's no reason not to. That's part of my morning routine before I even sit down in this chair. Is I'm glancing at the account to make sure nothing fraudulent has
Yep. I mean, as soon as I get that email alert, there's been a transaction over $1.
happened. That state might be a little bit too low there.
well, well, I didn't want to say what my threshold is just in case somebody decides to steal my stuff and they'll be like, purchase right below the threshold.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I actually get upset whenever I have a transaction that's not red flag, that is a legitimate transaction. So, like, most people know that you and I drove to Toronto, a couple of weeks ago, a month ago now, for the international conference. I didn't have any of my transactions flagged while I was there. And at the same time, my son was in Germany with the house credit card there as well. And I think one transaction might have been flagged, but that was it. And you know, it would have made me feel better if a little bit more were red flagged.
Same. None of mine were flagged either.
I
Huh.
mean, unless our bank is closely watching our LinkedIn accounts.
Oh man, goodness. But yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm so
Okay.
crazy over here. I hadn't even oh, Stephanie said the alerts tattle on her husband's Amazon habit. I'm sorry.
Stephanie, it's funny that you say that because I don't even get the bank notifications. I just get the email saying, new Amazon purchase, new Amazon purchase.
Yeah. I don't. Thankfully, I don't buy enough stuff to really be worried. Um, I I'm very low maintenance. I buy groceries once a week and I cook.
I think we have 3 Amazon deliveries today.
You know what too? I actually stopped having I go pick up the Amazon at one of their locations. I go to Whole Foods close to where I am, because I don't want anybody stealing stuff off the porches. It's
Yeah.
weird nowadays.
Now, my old house, if we would have had that option, that would have been happening quite a bit. But here at where I'm at, you've been to my house. It's so remote, the where it's at, that the odds are much lower for theft. But no, I totally support having a Whole Foods or something like that for pickup because you don't want to have that risk.
Yeah. Now I'm guessing this is Kay. I'm guessing. She said, "You are generous. I have my alerts set regardless of positive or negative for anything over 1 penny."
That works. Yep. I
That
think
could be
the
helpful
main
because
the main thing here is have an alert set, right? Whatever your materiality level is, that's what it should be happening.
well, and then also think about the last few places you've been so that you can try and figure out where it was compromised. Call the police immediately. And then nowadays, most of them have apps where you can actually just lock your card.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know
Very quick,
with
very
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
very quick, very easy. And I would rather get more alerts than what you need than not know something, and then all of a sudden you have to go through all the fraud process and all of that. It
Yeah.
is such a pain.
Well, and I can tell you with one of mine, even if you lock your card, you can create a virtual card that actually has a different number from your real number, and you can use it specifically for online transactions.
Yeah.
So I know this was in person, but in theory, what you can do is create that virtual number for that transaction and then scan it at the restaurant where they have the tap. You can tap the
Yep.
virtual card.
Yep.
Yep. Here we go. Now that's a good one too. She says it helps me to know that my bills have actually been paid on time too. Yep. Agree with that one too.
Absolutely. There's so much technology now on the positive side, right? For some of this that, um, but I'm also glad it seems like it happened. What in this instance here, it happened in one day. So it's nice to know that enough people reported it very quickly for law enforcement to take action, and the fact that law enforcement took action quickly is always great to see.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I am still um okay, wait. I gotta go back here again. So this person said it's got to be more than one person or just the company itself because the guy that was doing it was locked up days ago. Now, I really don't think it's the franchise owners, but it goes back to what we were saying earlier, right? And then this person says try using cash and you won't have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, sure, they're not wrong, but then you just go back to how much cash are you going to be carrying around, and do you is it worth the risk?
Well, I'm still going back to how about just not go to that location until they can straighten out the problem. Like, what did I miss? Am I? Yeah. So this was. Where did I say this was? Oregon, Ohio. So,
Which
yeah.
how many Oregons are in the country?
Mm, that's a good question. Nowadays, we could easily find out though.
Right? Let me or what was it? So you remember when Google became like the top search engine and everybody started using the term let's Google it, right? Well, I just had someone in my peer group yesterday say, let's just AI that.
Oh God, it's become a thing.
It has become a verb now. You know, instead of Googling
Oh,
it, we're going to AI it.
oh God, it's become a thing. Stephanie says she never has cash. Yeah.
Yep.
So I have an emergency stash, and I typically don't carry it with me. It's for like the apocalypse whenever Skynet comes to get us, because it will eventually, especially if we're AIing everything. Um, but I do have a small stash, and but I don't carry it actively. You never know; somebody might see you because there's. Well, in a lot of cities, there's this thing happening now that they're calling jugging, and basically they follow people to banks and ATMs, and they follow them home afterwards, and they rob them afterwards. So it's like a mugging, but bigger 'cause it's jugging.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that in this area a couple of times. It's yeah, you know, being vigilant, being aware. We always keep a an emergency amount on us that's just enough because we're notorious for your gas light comes on. Oh, I can make it another X number of miles, and then you kind of see how much farther you can push it, and you never want to go to the gas station and find out their credit card machines are down. So we have just enough cash to be able to put a little bit in the tank, just in case. So we do have that kind of a small amount, but such a small amount. It's not relevant.
Well, Stephanie's got her home stash, and it's locked up. So yeah. So I guess that would be another lesson to add for today too, right? Have a stash of cash somewhere,
Yeah,
and then too, use prepaid credit card. Uh, so
sure.
like PayPal has a really good prepaid card that you can just put money on, and it still gives you alerts and everything. You can see it. I think it's a Visa or Mastercard. Either way, I have one, and you just throw money on it sometimes for emergencies. Um, my debit card number was stolen last year,
Mm.
and it took a while to get a new one because I was mobile, and I'm always moving from some place to another. Um, and I had to use my PayPal.
Yeah. Thankfully, I haven't had that issue yet. But whenever I travel, especially when I used to travel a ton internationally, I would make sure I kept about $100 cash on me, but not all together. I would have like 20 in one shoe, literally 20 in one shoe, 20 in another shoe, 20 in my computer bag, 20 over here. So that way, if I got robbed, if my passport was stolen, then I would at least have the cash to go to get to the embassy to be able to try to get some help. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, especially traveling.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, anything else? Did we miss anything with this episode? I think we covered a lot. I just thought this one was interesting. That you know.
Yeah, this was one of those. It's a pretty simple case, but the fact that it's happened multiple times to this location, definitely want to consider. You know, who's doing the interviewing, who's doing the hiring. Yeah, because if it's happening multiple times, and honestly, I try not to hold a company at fault for something like this. If it happens once or twice, if it happens once, you had a bad apple, they were stealing it, but if they've got multiple issues, yeah, I'm not going back to that Taco Bell. I'm sorry, you've got issues that you need to address internally.
Ah, somebody said drives me crazy when clients use debit cards online and wonder why there's an issue getting help with fraud charge.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Well, all right. Thank you all for joining us this week on the Friday Froster. We'll see you next week
Have a great weekend.
so that I can go take a nap.